it's good what he just said, because I always say, if people don't talk about you, it's because you're not important. And also, just embrace it. That's the only way you can go embrace it. Make sure you're gonna work hard. Make sure you're gonna not prove people wrong. But when sometimes people tell you like, "What's your goal in life?" I said, as long as I'm in the race and I can run, there's no finish line. Run. The most difficult thing is when you're not in a race. You can, where am I running? But if you can, there's no finish line.
Yeah.
Run.
We're here in America, and obviously the World Cup is here and it's on now. You obviously won it in '98, and I was looking through your squad. You had great players, but do you think it's equally as important for a team that's going to win the World Cup? You have to have the right characters and personalities within that. And just talk to me about those in your squad.
I'll be honest with you. We had a team where, I'm sure you remember at the time, Djorkaeff was playing in Italy, Thuram was playing also in Italy, Zidane was playing in Italy. I think Christian was already at Madrid. Guys were playing in big teams, playing big games every weekend. I was still in France at Monaco. And I think one thing that was very important is that we had winners. And we had winners. And something that people do not want to mention, we failed. So I wasn't part of that squad because I was too young. We didn't go to the World Cup in '94, and we didn't go to the World Cup in 1990. And so people always go like, when you see the squad, you go like, obviously they won. Look at the team they had. No. That team almost had a lot of those players that didn't make the World Cup in '94. So you failed. Now you're playing for some of the best team in Europe, so you're preparing yourself. And what's very key in order to succeed is failing. You need to fail. People always don't want to mention that you need to fail. That's why I remember the first time I went in the under 15 or under 16, and I'm sure you know the feeling playing for France, and I was rubbish. I wasn't good, and they never called me back. I said, I don't want that feeling again. I don't want that feeling again. I don't. So I played differently. So failure, preparing, being in some of the best team in the world, those guys were our leaders. And when you look at the way we won it, the games were not flamboyant. Watch them. We won on penalty, golden goals, but we were hard to beat. Then we elevated it to play a bit better at the Euro 2000. At the very beginning, that one, '98, we were so rigid and tough to beat. It was, not to rub it in with set pieces or whatever, but we scored 2 goals on set pieces in the final. Lilian Thuram never used to pass the halfway line. He scores 2 against Croatia. We needed a golden goal against Paraguay. We won a penalty against Italy. Look, I always say that, I repeat that all the time. When you miss 2 World Cups, and just what I mentioned to you, what else? You're at home. You want to have another chance. You can't top that. There's no way you can have a better chance than that. First and foremost, having a World Cup at your place. So I always say to people when they say, whatever situation it is, it can be that one. They say, Thierry, oh my God, you came out of that, or you guys came out of that. But we didn't have the choice. If you only have one choice, then you don't have the choice. That's the only thing that you have and you don't have in the world. So human beings, usually when they are in a situation where they don't have the choice, they perform.
Yeah, you have to go for it. You talk about captains in that team and their personalities, and you've played with the likes of Adams, Vieira, Didier Deschamps, and Zidane, etc. Who are the leaders in today's game that you go, there's maybe similarities there? I see traits.
It's very difficult. You see managers being leaders from outside, and they kind of a bit controlling everything. I played against you so many times, and I'm not going to repeat what Roy Keane used to say on the field. But you needed also to be equipped to take what the leader was going to say. And we live in a society also now, you can have, you can see Declan Rice, the leader. You can see guys wants it. You can see Ruben Diaz at Man City, the ways, Bernardo Silva. I can give you names of players. But there's something that I always say, and people always talk about captain and leaders. And I always flip it. Whoever the leader is, that sometimes we don't know too much about. Not the guy that has the armband. That doesn't, sometimes the guys that are armband, he is a leader, but you have more leaders in the team. Sometimes also you have the guy that will be vocal and the guy that will lead just because of how he plays. And you just follow. And then you have guys sometimes have both. Like for example, for me playing against you guys, Roy Keane at that, Patrick at that. Guys that like we're talking and also
Doing.
and also like
If you can't do it, I'm going to do it myself and take the team.
That's what I'm saying. But they're always going to tell you what time it was. But you need to take that in also.
Lastly, I want to finish off with Harry Kane, obviously because England
Obviously,
and what he's doing. What do you make of his career so far? Do you think he gets the respect that he deserves?
I think at one point people were confusing one thing: what he won and how great of a player he is. Those are two different subjects. And where I will give Harry Kane a lot of credit. I did an interview with him. And on purpose, because for me it matters assist. I never used to like when the striker used to go, oh, they don't feed me. Go grab your plate and serve yourself food, man. Like sometimes people cannot help you. Like at the end of the game, I always hear like guys who are like, he didn't have any service. What do you mean? So he can go home, that's it? No, do something, work. And so you could see that he could score goals. I mean, it's a given. And I remember I asked him a question. And I said, do you think you have enough assists? He said, no, and I don't like it, and I will work on it. And he did.
You see the stats now.
What? No. So I always have time for people that can always go like, look, I'm a goal scorer, feed me. This is my job. I'm not going to do anything else. That's how I am, that's how I play. And nobody would have complained. No. He wanted to be better. He wanted to be complete. With which he can play against a team that plays low. He can play behind the striker. He can ping a ball. He can do whatever he wants. He's complete. I like also Julian Alvarez because you're talking now. I'm going into 9. I like 9s that can do virtually everything. I don't know if it's unfair or not unfair, but now he's getting his reward. And why? Because he's winning. When you win, it validates what you're about. But for me, look, and he played for Tottenham, so it's not something that I like to shout about. But when you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter what shirt you're wearing, the way he plays. If you want to be a number 9, you need to look at him and how he goes about the game. And again, we're talking about a guy that thinks the game. And I'll, if you allow me, I will finish with that. I always, and I'm sure it must be the same, especially more with you than me, I'm sure. When you must be on holiday and some guys are seeing you, they go like, Rio, me, you, 1v1, I'll pass you. And, same thing with Thierry. I'm always like, do you think you can play football? No, and people are like, yeah, I can play. What do you think? You think because, and I used to argue with people, trying to explain, listen, you don't understand. And I always used to say, why would you? I would never go to Lewis Hamilton and I see him in his car and say, you me now? Like, no. You
just
never,
know.
You stay in your lane. I always say that. But my thing now, when someone says to me, Thierry, I can play football, I always go, yeah, you can. I always say, yeah, you can. I think you do. But I used to think it. And that's the difference between me and you. Because when you guys play, we used to think the game. And so for me, it is a difference. Because if here we're in the room, if you say to a kid, so I'll bring you back to the beginning, Joaquim Francisco Filho. Yeah. Basically what he told me is think the game. If you say to a kid, we're going to play and then we're going to think, you start with your brain in a different...
Yeah, they approach different.
Of course, it is different. Think. But if you're not taught that early, it's very, very difficult. That's why I always say you need to train the brain. Repetition creates habits. We're in a room here, right? Not once, you guys or me or you we said to ourselves, we need to stop and breathe because we're going to die. You do it automatically. Nobody has said, I need to breathe because I'm not going to survive. It comes naturally to breathe, right? And this is why it is. If you train the brain and you repeat stuff and you find a way to make it natural. This is why sometimes you see guys, why did he do that? But how many times did you see that guy repeat that same action in training and same thing? So it comes naturally, but technically you're still thinking it. You're not realizing that you're thinking, just like breathing. You don't say to yourself, I need to breathe. If not I die, you don't. It happens. And so that's what those guys do really well. Everything that looks complicated looks natural because they repeated it so many times.
Messi and Mbappe, Cup final, FIFA World Cup final. Who is your money on this time?
It's not even money. I'm French. It's sometimes you don't stop and appreciate what you're looking at. The other day someone told me, and we had our issues with France. It's not like, oh my God. But in the last 7 World Cups, we played 4 finals.
Wow.
This is what I'm saying. And sometimes you kind of like, oh, boring. They should do more. Yes. But when you stop, is the reality is in the last 7 World Cup finals, we were 4 times there. So as a French guy, obviously I'm going to tell you, with all the respect I have for Leo, all the respect I have for everybody, I want France to win. Like you want England to win. Like it's not even a money thing. It's just like a normal thing. I want Mbappe to win, score 6 goals in the final, and whatever it is. We all know it's not going to happen. You never know, but you know it's not going to happen. But sometimes along the way, and you know that, Rio, along the way of being successful and performing and competing, we forget to stop and go like, you know what, it ain't that bad, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You forget. It's always more because those guys are still active, so it's more. And everyone is thinking, I know already, what about if Ronaldo wins his first one? It was the same thing. Leo Messi might win his first one, and he did. So I will always go with France. It's just a normal thing.
You played in England. You know what the temperature's like. You know what the expectations like for England players when they go to a World Cup. We're all under pressure. France, Brazil, everyone will be under pressure. But you've lived in England. You've seen it and breathed it. Do you have any doubts that 1, England can win it, and 2, Harry Kane can shoot us to that